Welcome, everybody. Thank you for your patience. We were just filling the room. Nice to see so many. Are you smiling? Are they smiling faces? Nobody knows. So my name's Matt. I'm from Boson Protocol. We're building a decentralized infrastructure for Web3, and we're focusing on Metaverse commerce. A lot of talk about that this week, and I'm looking forward to giving you our perspective on it. So over the next hour or so, we've got a few things to talk to you about. First, I'm going to give you a bit of an overview about what we've been doing since a big fundraiser we did earlier in the year. Talk about the product that we're launching this week. We're launching on the Ethereum Mainnet today, and I can talk a little bit about the series of activities we've got coming up over the next couple of weeks to sort of give you the insight into what we're doing with physical NFTs. Then we've got an interview with Joe Pace from Asics, actually from the Metaverse. And then we've got a bit of a chat between Jonas in our strategy team and Rian in developer relations around what this means, why it's important, and there'll be opportunity for a bit of a Q&A at the end if we have time. So if you feel like you've got some questions, prepare them. You have the opportunity. So let me just tell you a little bit about Boson Protocol first. Press the button. There. Our mission at Boson Protocol is to decentralize commerce. And what that means is we're aiming to create direct, peer-to-peer, unintermediated commercial transactions between one person and another. At the moment, what happens is that exists between yourself, a platform or a retailer, and another person. We are focusing on that. And our focus to begin with is with Metaverse commerce. The reason for that is that's a blue ocean in terms of how people are transacting there. It's a really good testing ground and opportunity for us to innovate with sort of crypto-enabled digital assets to physical asset transactions. And so when we think about why we're doing that, if we think about blockchain, digital assets, crypto space, one of the biggest challenges that we have in that Web3 environment is that there is no connection between the world of digital, the digital applications, decentralized services, smart contracts, and real-world commerce. And that is if you think about all the innovation that's been happening in DeFi over the past couple of years, that is an order of magnitude bigger opportunity if you can connect smart contracts with real-world commerce and real-world data. And if you think about what the challenges are there are two sets of challenges, really. One is how do you enable on-chain applications to connect with real-world data, and the other one is how do you enable on-chain applications to connect with real-world things, real-world assets, right? And smart contracts can't really trust real-world data sources, and that's a category of problems that's been quite well explored. But also, smart contracts can't trust real-world asset exchanges. If I give you something, how does a blockchain know that has happened? And oracles sort of like easily connect between sort of real-world data and decentralized applications. And you look at things like Chainlink and Graph and things like that, they do that. Now what Boson Protocol is doing is connecting digital assets to physical assets. We're solving this other category of challenges, which is around how do decentralized applications connect with and understand what's happening in the real world of things. And to do that, we've really been working since we did a big fundraise back in April in sort of three big areas, right? One is legal engineering. You think about all the work that's been done in terms of decentralized finance, right? There's another big set of challenges around how do you kind of manage the actual transfer of real-world assets and tax and all that sort of implications. So we've got some great team working on that. Dr. Primavera De Filippi from Harvard University and Silka, who's a blockchain researcher and lawyer working with her. But then also protocol design, right? So if you imagine how do you actually create and manage this connection between the real world and the physical world and the digital world, the universe and the metaverse, if you like. And we've got Aditya, who's from the Ethereum Foundation, working on ETH2. He's been working with us, as well as Nick Mudge, who's a developer, been working on a number of the ERC standards. He's now working with us on that. And then finally, incentive design, right? how do you kind of create a series of incentives that encourages buyers and sellers, all the people in that transaction, to act rationally with the intention to successfully complete that transaction? And so those three areas are where we feel we've made significant breakthroughs in all of them. And essentially what we're doing, or what Boson Protocol enables and what we're putting live today, connects the universe with the metaverse by connecting those smart contracts with real-world commerce and its data. So people can execute real-world commerce transactions, and receive the item confident that they will either get the item or their money back. That's what we mean by sort of commerce infrastructure for Web3. And obviously, that's a huge category of things that we could do. There's, that's if that comes to fruition and everyone starts using that, that is a fundamental paradigm shift in terms of how people execute commerce. Now, that's obviously a big thing to do and won't all happen at the same time. So our focus, our go-to-market strategy, is innovating in one area that enables people to derive real value and real build a core user base in this beachhead, right? And our beachhead is in Metaverse Commerce. I'm going to talk to you a bit about that in a second. What we're doing initially is an MVP, right? We're actually built a space in Decentraland, and we're enabling brands and people to buy and sell items there, essentially managed by the team. We're over the course of the next few months, we'll be launching a sort of self-serve Metaverse Commerce product that enable people to do that in Decentraland as well as in other environments. I'll talk a little bit more of that in a minute. And then that gives us the jumping off point to this sort of mainstream of decentralized commerce as we start thinking about other areas, gaming, e-commerce, digital collectibles, things like that. So Metaverse Commerce, the dawn of Metaverse Commerce. What does that mean? What does that mean really? Well, I mean, put very simply, what if the items that you buy in a game are redeemable for items in real life, right? And a lot of these games are open world games, not managed by a platform, they're just open environments. If I go there, I buy with digital assets, I receive a physical product. And what we're doing with Boson Protocol is essentially enabling what you might call physical NFTs, right? Connections between the digital collectible, an in-game wearable maybe, and a physical item. And essentially by purchasing the digital item, the digital NFT, you also get access to the physical. So we're enabling, put simply, the sale of physical items in the metaverse as NFTs. And we put a little film together here just to talk a little bit about the opportunity. Just want to touch on one thing. What we're talking about here is open source software, open standard that anyone can use, right? There's been a lot of talk about Metaverse, and I don't want anyone to think that, these big organizations, Facebook, Microsoft, making big announcements about that. We're advocating for a different type of relationship with this new type of this new web, if you like, which is one that's governed by open standards and one that enable, anybody to access, everybody to trust, and everybody to use. And we're launching this space. It's live in Decentraland at the moment as a sort of a bit of a showcase, but we've got a big event coming on the 18th of November in Decentraland. We've got a day-long conference and a series of physical NFT drops happening from the 18th of November and over into December with a series of partners. So I don't know if some of you have probably seen that a month ago or so we acquired a digi-physical suit from Dolce & Gabbana for a significant amount of money, $1 million suit in fact. And that came with digital item, physical item, and experiential access, and we'll be doing a series of activities with that, as well as we're partnering with a number of sort of digital creators, DressX, who are a great sort of digital first fashion house. Meta Factory is a DAO focused on creating clothing, digiphysical clothing. And then Ouroboros is a fashion house based in London who we're working with. And I'll talk a little bit about those now, actually. So this is the Dolce & Gabbana suit. Was produced by the Dolce & Gabbana team. It took something like 16,000 hours to make. It's a digital asset, an NFT. It's a physical item that's currently on display in New York, and it's also exclusive access to a series of Dolce & Gabbana events. And what we'll be doing is we'll be fractionalizing and sharing with the community the benefit that comes with that over the coming months. We'll have a display and a series of activities in Decentraland about that. As I mentioned, we're working with Meta Factory, which is a kind of creative DAO who produce limited edition items. There'll be a limited edition run that we'll be producing and selling in Decentraland, as well as working with Ouroboros, who create this incredible sort of otherworldly digital and physical items, and they're doing a limited edition run of jewelry for us, which you can buy in the metaverse as NFTs and earn the right to receive the physical item as well. And finally, DressX, similar sort of thing that we've got a really, really interesting, unique, one-of-a-kind item that we'll be working with them on in the metaverse as well. And I think the thing to bear in mind here is that we're enabling the sale of the physical item using the NFT that anybody can have. And we can talk about some of the benefits, the superpowers, if you like, of functional NFTs in the session in a minute. So I just want to wrap up, I just want to show you what the environment looks like. This is the portal, and give you an example of what the user flow is in this environment. And remember, this is our showcase area, but this is a sort of an open commerce type experience that anybody can set up using a sort of a software development kit that we'll be releasing. So here, this is the purchase interface. This is a kind of common Boson Protocol enabled sort of sales modal window. This is a transaction, and then the redemption flow. So once you've bought the item, you can then go redeem it either in store, on a website, or in this sort of environment here. So here's the thing. The claim is being processed, and then the claim is complete. And then the physical item would be received. And here it comes. And here it is. And here are the shoes. Thank you, Stephen, my glamorous assistant. And so the sort of physical transaction takes place, and then essentially what happens is either the sale is successfully concluded, you receive the physical item and you're happy with it, or you create a complaint or you have a exception that you want to raise, and then you receive your money back, you return the item, all that sort of stuff. So what we're aiming to build is a decentralized network on which future commerce will run. This is like a glimpse, if you like, a demonstration of what that future might look like. In the short term, we're aiming to have a presence on every website, every metaverse, every game, a new way in which transactions can take place. So we talk about Decentraland. We're in discussions with a number of other environments, both these sort of like open world, like crypto, blockchain-enabled games, and then further on it with others. Some of the closed platforms, some of the enabling things like Polygon and stuff like that. Yeah, and just to sort of round up, we do have a big event happening in Decentraland called Boson Forum. It's happening on the 18th of November. I'd encourage you all to sort of sign up there. If you go to bosonprotocol.io or bosonportal.io, you can get a link to sign up for that. It'll all be happening live in a virtual world. Some great speakers from sort of like the world of commerce, thinkers, investors, and manufacturers of products. And there will be making some more announcements about products which will be on sale in Portal and our future plans as well. So join us. Yeah, just to give a bit of a teaser, I suppose, and just a little bit of stuff to sort of understand what we're working on, but it's just the beginning. And we've got another version of the protocol that we're now starting to work on, which has a lot broader of the broader features. That'll be launching next year, the V2. But yeah, thank you very much. So next, I think we have coming in live from the Metaverse. We have an interview with Joe Pace from Asics, which is one of our partners who we're working with on this launch, and they're meeting with Justin Bannon and Rianne, who's amazingly both here and in the interview. So hit it.
Hi, I'm Rianne Lewis. I'm Developer Relations Advocate at Boson Protocol, and I'm delighted to invite you to our fireside chat. So today we're delighted to have Joe Pace, Head of Business Development at Asics, and Boson Protocol co-founder Justin Bannon to talk about Boson's landmark launch on the Ethereum Mainnet that we're announcing today, and what it means for brands interested in developing innovative experiences for their customers in the metaverse. Guys, absolutely fantastic to have you both here. Hey, Joe.
Hello. Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
And hey, Justin.
Hi, Rianne. Hi, Joe. Great to be here.
So my first question is going to be to Justin. At the moment, we're witnessing pretty important developments for the metaverse, including things like high demand from brands like Asics to start offering their products for people in 3D environments, exactly like where we're standing now, Boson Portal. So where does Boson Protocol fit into this whole picture?
Thanks, Rianne. Quite simply, Boson Protocol enables the sale of physical products in the metaverse as NFTs. So you can think of Boson as like a commerce bridge between virtual and real worlds. So brands can now offer experiences and products that engage customers in the metaverse and that are redeemable for real world physical items. So imagine if your customers could browse products in the metaverse, then receive these physical items either on their doorstep or collect in store. That's what Boson Protocol enables seamlessly. And we do this in a completely decentralized way, meaning that the brand and the customer are connected directly by Boson Protocol software. So our vision at Boson Protocol is to provide the decentralized network upon which future commerce will run. And for us, it starts with metaverse commerce.
And Joe, my question to you. So we've just seen in this absolutely awesome demo how customers could potentially purchase an Asics pair of shoes in the metaverse and have them delivered right to their doorstep using Boson Protocol. So obviously you've been looking really closely at what you've been doing, and I know that this isn't your first venture into Web3 because Asics previously did their own NFT drop. So could you tell us a little bit about how you guys at Asics see the potential benefits of metaverse commerce and just generally what your thoughts are about the whole thing?
No, thank you. And thanks for the question and so excited to be here. We learned a lot with our NFT drop earlier this summer. And one of the greatest things coming out of that were some of the relationships like the one we have here with Boson Protocol. And, for us, the metaverse and metaverse commerce in general, at least what I get excited about is the community around it. We're seeing with all these various NFT projects and with different decentralized technologies coming out that these small little micro communities are developing around these digitally native experiences. And so what we're hoping to do is create community around experiences that we've always supported, which are helping people lead active lifestyles, whether it's running, playing sports, being active in general. And so, for me, the exciting part is to see communities come together in a single place, potentially from various parts of the world with, no matter what their background is or where they're from, they can come into a single place, align around a product that they all are excited about, and ideally the product allows them to do things in the real world that they enjoy doing. And so the piece that as we're seeing here today, we're all in this same space together around this common idea and this common interest and passion. And I think that's just like such an exciting thing to be a part of, and honestly to start defining and figure out what that means. So yeah, there's so many elements of this, and I mean I could go on for a long time, but I think community really is the core of it, and making people feel comfortable in a cool and exciting new space.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating that you talk about community in this context because, of course, a lot of the slightly negative things that people say about the metaverse is that it's people, sitting at home, maybe not talking to each other. But in fact, it fosters new types of community, doesn't it? From where people all around the world, as you say, can get together. And it's a terrifically cool and exciting time to be involved in something like this. And following on from this, I think we see lots of brands wanting to engage with this, not just because it's cool, but because they see the potential of it. Justin, you've talked a lot about the huge interest from brands in this space. Obviously, Boson is launching Boson Portal in Decentraland on the 18th of November. Can you tell us a little bit more about Portal, please?
Sure. So whereas Boson Protocol is this core piece of infrastructure, sort of like commerce rails, if you like, for enabling a transaction, between a buyer and seller in the metaverse, redeemed in the physical world. Portal is an application. It's a fully customizable brand platform for metaverse commerce. Portal connects the metaverse with the real world, enabling these sort of in-world purchases that are redeemable as physical items, and enables us to offer a full-service solution for any brand wishing to dip their toes into the metaverse, and really supporting brands to plug in Boson Protocol and create these immersive commerce experiences within the metaverse. So that's a good overview of Portal.
It's just so exciting. I can't resist having a little dance on the on the strength of that.
I might join you, Rianne. Actually, I think.
Yeah, why
not? Perhaps, I'd been going to ask you to expand a little bit on the healthy, active lifestyles point, Joe, but given that we're all dancing away here.
Yeah, right.
So in terms of your brand and sportswear, you genuinely feel that the metaverse is a useful and exciting platform for promoting healthy lifestyles. Could you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, no, and I love this idea, right, of something that feels maybe pretty foreign at first, being something that can inspire you to take action in the real world. And to since the beginning of even starting to dabble with NFTs, that's really been our mission, which is to help people be active and inspire people to be active through digital goods and services. And I just think the metaverse is a place where you can really be experimental, try new things, and maybe do things in a way that you may not be comfortable doing in the real world. And honestly, we see this all the time with our app Runkeeper. When we talk to users, we hear, people who are just starting to get running, they don't necessarily feel comfortable running outside when they first start going. They don't necessarily feel like they want to be doing their exercise in front of people because they're new. They feel like they're not good at it yet. And so they'll run at night, or they'll run in separate neighborhoods, and they'll already go somewhere else to experiment and try and start to get comfortable with their new habit. And I see the metaverse as a similar concept where you're able to come into this space and maybe talk to a sales associate and get, without having to go in front of anybody at a store, wearing different clothes that you might wear in real life, and speak to them about ask questions more openly, and maybe try on some stuff on your avatar that you maybe wouldn't try on in the real world, and start to feel that sense of comfort. Like I can pull this off. I can wear this product, and I can actually wear this product in the real world. Maybe after you start to get comfortable with it, seeing it in third person on your avatar. And so, I think the beauty of it is it's a place to just experiment, try new things, explore different sides of your personality, explore different interests that you have. As I mentioned before, community, maybe there are other people going through the same thing and trying to get into running or get into jogging. And you can meet at the same space and talk about it, and maybe try on the the same pair of shoes, ask if you like it, if it looks good on me, etc. So to me, it's just so cool to be able to go into a place and be as anonymous as you'd like to be, and be anything that you want to be, and hopefully that translates into the real world as well.
Absolutely amazing. I had to applaud there because it kind of resonates with our own experiences. When we've been hanging out in Decentraland and so on, I'm always amazed by the way. My colleagues, we just what we choose to wear in the metaverse and so on. It's just an amazing way to express yourself, and I love this idea of what you were saying about if you're not sure about whether you want to wear something, having your avatar wear it first. It's just such a cool idea, and of course, that in itself is creating this kind of bridge between the virtual and real worlds. And just like that identity bridge, Justin, you've mentioned in the past about how Boson creates a commerce bridge between the virtual and real worlds. Could you expand on the customer experience in Metaverse commerce enabled by Boson Protocol?
Sure, Rian. So, firstly, what we have built within Decentraland Boson Portal is more than just straight, enabling commerce. We've created with Portal a sort of expo that really explores the potential for commerce experiences. So Boson Portal is like a rewarding gamified space that enables these commerce experiences. So what do I mean by that? So we enable brands to not just offer physical products as NFTs, but we gamify that with quests, and the successful completion of a quest enables you to purchase special items or reduced prices, etc. And so consumers who complete this quest will then purchase a Boson NFT, and that NFT will lock up the purchase price within that contract, and there are also sort of deposits for buyers and sellers, and that NFT can then be redeemed in the real world, either via a website for delivery to the customer, or in store, for collection by the customer.
That is just so cool. I just love that idea. And that's speaking about providing a bridge between the virtual and real worlds. But then, of course, we come to this concept of assets, items that are both at the same time. So I'll put this one to you, Joe. The market for items that are both physical and digital is going to be just massive. What's the prize that's on offer for brands who are first movers in this area and who get this whole metaverse thing right? Or to put it another way, what do brands stand to lose if they don't get it right and if they pass up this opportunity?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I think there is a potentially a very big prize, mostly in the opportunity to just help people and serve people, and also to define what the culture of the metaverse is. The metaverse is happening. There's a lot of investment going into it. You can already see vibrant communities established here, and but at the same time, it is still pretty nascent. It's still pretty early, and I think, at least from our perspective, it's an opportunity for us to be a proponent of the good parts of the metaverse. When more and more people start to come in, what are the established things that you do here? Like, those things are still being figured out, and I'd love for a company like ours or others to be excited about being able to draw and write that story, and encourage people to create a culture that is positive, that inspires healthy habits, that this isn't a place where you just stare at your screen and just get locked in mindlessly for ages. Like, maybe the culture here is that you take care of yourself, and you do take bio breaks, you do go for a walk, you do get outside, you do disconnect as well. So there's a healthy balance here that I think the early adopters to the platform can help create. I'd love for us to be one of those. And as the metaverse begins to evolve and more people come, to me, the reward on the other end of that is that they get to experience the best parts of this new technology without potentially some of the more negative, stereotypical things you hear about what could potentially happen in the case of the metaverse. So yeah, I guess to sum that up, I think the prize is to help people. I'd love to help people move through this, and that's hopefully what we'll do.
I couldn't resist blowing some kisses there because I just love that message so much. So
Yeah.
looking,
Blow some back for you.
so looking forward into this incredible future that lies ahead of us, I'm going to ask you both, probably Justin first, what is your vision for the future of metaverse, the metaverse, and the future of commerce, and both together?
Sure, I'm happy to go first. I mean, I see the metaverse as, rather than being something distinct from the universe, as being this kind of continuum, this blurring. And so, Boson Protocol is a big part of connecting the two. So, for example, we have partners that we're going to announce that have chains of shopping malls, and they recognize that you're moving forward. They want a digital presence, in the metaverse, as a shopping mall that's a sort of a twin of their physical malls, connected by Boson Protocol, so that you can browse and buy items in the metaverse, redeem them in the real world. I think also with products, well, if you see what's happened with people, it's normal for people to have like a digital sort of shadow, if you like, whether that's LinkedIn, Twitter, and I think people will also have these digital representations, their avatars, but also products. I think in 5 years' time, or maybe sooner, it will be unusual and probably uncool to have an item of clothing that doesn't have some sort of a digital representation as well, where you could buy a pair of sneakers, physical pair. It would be unusual and uncool if you didn't have the digital pair to wear in the metaverse as well. And completely coincidentally, all of my sneakers, literally 5 pairs, are all Asics, by complete coincidence. So I think I'm going to be safe to pick up my daughter from school and not have a pair of uncool sneakers that don't have some sort of digital twin.
It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, the thing is, we're
Uh,
we're so early with this, but you're absolutely right. It is going to be that way, and it is the brands that seize this opportunity, like you say, that are going to mean you don't have to suffer the social indignity of not having shoes that don't have a presence in the metaverse. So, Joe, what do you think? How do you see this whole metaverse commerce space evolving over the next few years?
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think it will be really dependent on the intentions of the people creating it. I think that's going to be hugely impactful, and I think depending on who decides to get involved, that will play a major role in what it does become. And as I was mentioning before, I hope Asics is one of those proponents for good in the space, and it's to me, it's, as I mentioned before, I'll probably just reiterate what I'd already said. It's a place to experiment. It's a place to try new things. It's a place to explore potential new realities, and almost augment your physical reality in your real world, where, I can go to the metaverse, I can meet new people, I can hear new ideas, I can ask questions, I can put myself out there in ways that I'm not necessarily comfortable doing in the real world, or real world, physical world, and maybe that will impact and change the way I am present in the physical world. Maybe I'm more confident now. Maybe I wear new things for new reasons, and maybe I'm more active, physically active, and maybe my mental health is a little bit better because of that. And so, my hope is that the future of the metaverse and of this commerce experience is that it's something that is augmenting and improving our lives. I really hope for that, and that's what we're going to hopefully be building as well.
Amazing. It's such an inspiring fireside chat. I think that just about wraps it up. I guess I'm going to wave at everybody and say thank you very much for listening. Maybe have a bit of a dance even.
Yeah, a little robot. I like this one. Better moves than I have in real life. So I got to practice this one.
Thanks again so much for your time, both of you. It's been awesome.
Yeah, thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Rhian. Thanks, Joe.
Okay, so we've just now got Jonas and Rhian are going to give us a little bit of insight into the developments with the protocol that we're launching now and what that means in terms of opportunities for the future. We also, somebody in this room doesn't know it yet, but they have won a prize. So at the end, there'll be the opportunity for high-value merchandise. So stay in your seats. That's what I'll say. Your seats.
I'm Rhian, Developer Relations Advocate at Boson Protocol. You saw me. Well, you saw probably more of my avatar than me in the film. And this is Jonas, who's Head of Strategy at Boson Protocol. So we've seen quite a lot about what we're doing, what the strategy is, what's on offer, and seen the demo, obviously. So we thought we'd do a little roundup with how this actually works under the hood, because it's one thing to talk about the ideas behind something, another thing entirely to dig into how stuff actually works. So, Jonas, you've been working obviously really hard on version 1 of the protocol, which, as Matt said, went to the Ethereum Mainnet today. Can you tell us in some detail how it actually works?
Sure. Thanks, Rhian. So in V1 of the protocol, essentially the main focus is on this exchange of on-chain value for off-chain goods and services, right? Mostly physical products. And how we enable this is we kind of tokenize the commitment of two parties to exchange rather than tokenizing the physical items itself. And this is kind of a very different approach that we found in enabling this. And we tokenize this as kind of an ERC-721, an NFT. And in the back, we have this exchange protocol that makes sure that you have kind of this trust-minimized exchange. I think, as Matt said, kind of either you get the item or you get your money back. And what is great about kind of tokenizing these things as 721s is that with Web3 and Ethereum, we are kind of working on this open infrastructure, right? So once you have that NFT, this can plug into any kind of marketplace, any kind of environment. Anyone can build apps around it. And this is super powerful. And it's this idea around kind of open infrastructure rather than walled gardens. And so we think this tokenization, what we call kind of physical NFTs or NFT vouchers, is really the killer application there, because you're not locking people into platforms anymore, but you kind of have people really own these digital rights to physical things, and they can be exchanged anywhere. People can build applications around them. And this approach kind of that we are building this open protocol rather than another e-commerce platform is also why we see such strong synergies with kind of the open metaverse and metaverse commerce. Yeah, and I think, Rianne, you wrote a lot about kind of the open metaverse, the proposition around it, why it's important. Maybe you can give a bit more background on it.
Yeah, it's hugely important. I don't know how many people in the room were at the Facebook talk yesterday. Hands up if you saw Chris Cox, the Meta talk that was on the centre stage yesterday. Cool, cool. So obviously we feel that while there's obviously going to be a place, a big place in the metaverse for the big companies like Facebook, Google, and whoever else, Microsoft, and the reality is that this will be the case. You don't want to have a situation where we're spending all our working, or a big chunk of our future working time and leisure time in this virtual world. And, you know, you have things like, for example, Facebook bought out Oculus, the most popular VR headset. And you can now, with the new versions of the Oculus headset, you have to log in with Facebook. It's not saying that they will necessarily do these things in future, but no company, no one company should be able to exclude people from that big area of your life. I think Facebook and the companies like them do recognise this. Those of you who were at the talk will remember that Chris Cox was actually talking about the need to build a metaverse that has interoperable standards, that has common standards that we can all agree on. So it's hugely important that we have this kind of world where you can take your possessions and transact across a series of worlds, not just be locked into one world with one company. And the same really with blockchain networks. While we have just launched on Ethereum, the protocol itself is designed to be blockchain agnostic. So, Jonas, you can talk a little bit more about what we mean by this and what our future plans are.
Sure. So today we deployed on Ethereum Mainnet, which at the moment is kind of quite expensive. Maybe kind of to get a sense of the audience, whoever transacted on Ethereum. Oh, it's good, it's good. So you all experienced spending a lot of money on transactions. And so there's a bit of a bottleneck here for kind of lower value items when the transaction fees are so high. So what we're doing initially is we're deploying on Ethereum because kind of that's where the ecosystem is at the moment. And we're really focusing on kind of these rare high value items. And moving forward, what we're doing is kind of deploying across different scaling solutions, different blockchains. This is kind of the beauty of kind of EVM compatibility that most kind of blockchains and kind of layer 2s are adopting at the moment. So in the future, we will have kind of multi-network deployment, so users have the choice kind of where they want to do their transactions, where they want kind of their physical and digital assets to live. And yeah, it's kind of really interesting to see the space blossoming with these layer 2 solutions really taking off.
Yeah, and we've talked quite a lot about NFTs, obviously. So again, making the distinction that these are kind of NFTs with superpowers. They're not just JPEGs that you're trading. They actually do things. And we've talked also about the brand experience. And can you give a couple of examples of what this brand experience might look like?
Yeah, I think the great thing around these physical NFTs is that they persist, right? And then they become almost like this digital identity of the physical thing. So after you kind of completed this transaction, you got the physical thing, you still have this NFT, and the brand knows you own it, right? And the brand doesn't need to know your personal data, they just know the address that owns this NFT. And what this enables is then kind of brands can kind of continue the relationship they have with their customers after the sale in like this non-intrusive way. So they can invite them to events, give out rewards, can attach kind of these digital experiences like we're building in Portal. And again, as I said before, like anyone can build applications around it, right? So because this is like, these are like open standards that we're kind of implementing there, with this NFT sustaining, people can build kind of wild applications around them without having to trust us, right? There is no kind of dependency on trusting like us as individuals building this protocol. They can just check the code. It will stay that way. They have security that the applications they build around it will sustain.
Now, don't go anywhere. I know people want to get to other talks, but we have a really important announcement to make now, don't we? We're giving away not just the exact pair of Asics trainers that you saw, but also 100 Boson tokens. Ooh. And we are going to, who wants to explain the logic of how you find out if you're the winner?
So, if you have made it to the end of the presentation, you should look underneath your chair.
If it's one of the empty chairs, we need an adjudication on this. Person in the same row.
We have a winner! Congratulations. Do we come to the front? We have a pair of shoes that we can give you.
It's not just a bag.
We'll try to make this COVID secure. We have other sizes as well, so see us at the end if you'd like to do it.
Come and see us at the end anyway, because we need your wallet address.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. We really enjoyed giving you a bit of an insight into what we're working on, and I hope to see you all soon. We're on Telegram, we're on Twitter, we're on Discord, bosonprotocol.io. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.